Hello, good evening. Welcome to ITV News and to Wednesday night's calendar.
Hello, here are tonight's main stories.
A man who suffered a life-changing brain injury after a single punch is furious his attacker will be released after just 4 months behind bars.
4 months in prison, that's not even enough time for a houseplant to grow, really. It was gutting.
Road rage. Traders say plans to reduce car use in Harrogate town centre for bus and cycle lanes could ruin business.
The start of all this work that happens, if it happens, is going to be enormously disruptive to all the businesses.
We look at the work being done to make our local parks safer for women and girls.
And passing the baton, the next generation taking part in a special relay to raise awareness of climate change. Good evening, thanks for joining us. A man who had to have half his skull removed after a street assault says he's disgusted his attacker is being released after just 4 months in prison. Braden Stromberg nearly died after Kyle Stevenson knocked him unconscious with a single punch.
Braden from Mansfield says he feels let down by the authorities and robbed of justice. Peter Byrne has this report.
Every time he looks in the mirror, Braden Stromberg is reminded of how his life changed forever in the space of a few seconds. He and his then-girlfriend were walking through Bolsover in Derbyshire when Kyle Stevenson came up to them and knocked Braden to the ground in an unprovoked attack. Stevenson admitted causing grievous bodily harm. Last February, he was jailed for 1 year and 10.5 months. Now, having served 4 months behind bars, he's expected to walk free this week.
When you read it for the first time, what did you think?
4 months in prison, that's not even enough time for a houseplant to grow, really. It was gutting.
Are you disgusted by this?
100%, yeah. I feel like it's robbed me of justice.
Braden, who's 27 and from Clipston near Mansfield in Nottinghamshire, received the news from the Ministry of Justice. Stevenson will be subject to a curfew and wear an electronic tag.
I couldn't tell you how angry I am, to be honest. I really am livid. When he read the email out, I just went in the garden. Honest to God, I was livid.
The attack in May last year left Braden in a coma for 2 weeks. His family feared he might not pull through. He had such severe swelling in his brain, doctors had to remove half his skull. He now has to wear a helmet. His head so vulnerable, a single knock could be fatal.
Yesterday I was in the car and I had a bee land on my head here, and I thought, if that bee stings me, I could have an anaphylactic shock, and the swelling that comes from that could potentially end it as well. There's so many things that could give me curtains, basically.
Something simple as like, it's 10 o'clock. I'm hovering and listening at the bedroom door. Is he moving? Is he still with me? Has the pillow dug in his head? Or it's absolutely horrendous.
Really, that's how serious it's become.
It's made me really ill, to be honest.
When Stevenson was jailed, the judge acknowledged his sentence of 22 months would probably not satisfy Braden and his family. Stevenson has actually served less than 1/5 of that.
We thought that he would be in prison for Christmas, but he still gets to spend Christmas and probably most of the summer with his family. Now that's not really taking any freedom away from him or giving him any sort of consequences for his actions. My life's still on hold, and he can start having drinks and having barbecues with family around and etc, and I'm not even able to do that myself.
Braden is now awaiting surgery to rebuild his skull with a titanium plate. Having had a pre-op injection, he's hoping that could happen in the next few weeks. Peter Byrne, ITV News, Nottinghamshire.
And good luck to Braden later in the year when he gets that surgery. Well, the Ministry of Justice told us this was a terrible crime, and our thoughts are with Mr Stromberg and his family. Offenders must pass tough risk assessments before being approved for home detention curfew and abide by strict rules, they say, which if broken will see them returned to prison.
Next tonight, a controversial makeover of North Yorkshire's largest town centre looks set to go ahead, despite traders warning It'll backfire and keep shoppers away just as they're recovering from the aftermath of the pandemic.
We're talking, of course, about Harrogate and ideas from council leaders that have been circling for 7 years of transforming the main road running through the town centre.
Today, government officials visited the town to see the plans for themselves. But some shopkeepers fear moves to bring in cycle lanes and bus lanes will send shoppers elsewhere. John Hill reports.
Busy-ish shopping streets in Harrogate today. But have a good look round and it's clear they could be busier. North Yorkshire Council hopes to rejuvenate the town and its shopping area. This is the idea: more priority given to cyclists, buses and pedestrians. But that means cutting the main A61 from 2 lanes down to 1 in the town centre and getting rid of 40 car parking spaces. Not everyone is impressed. Ice cream seller John isn't, neither is his mum, Anne.
I think it's going to kill it. It's about dead now, is Harrogate, let alone bringing that in.
More pedestrianisation is on the cards. Surely that's good news for you? More pedestrians, more passing trade?
Well, in theory, yes, that's a great idea. But in practical terms, then obviously the demographic of Harrogate is older than average, shall we say. So you're not going to get a lot of people on a push bike coming to do bags of shopping and take that kind of thing home. I don't think it's realistic.
They didn't stop for an ice cream, but today government and regional officials visited the town in person to see what the changes could mean. For some shopkeepers, they mean worry. Party shop owner Sally is one of those with concerns.
Well, it's certainly not going to improve things for us. I mean, it's going to make things extremely difficult for our customers to come and collect items from us. It's going to make things extremely difficult for us to take in our deliveries, just general day-to-day operations, maintenance to buildings, anything like that is just going to be really difficult.
Similar feelings from florist Helen.
People will steer clear of town if they can't get in easily. Times are tough as they are. We've just got over COVID and we've now got the cost of living crisis. The start of all this work that happens, if it happens, is going to be enormously disruptive to all the businesses.
But for council leaders like Keane Duncan, the rewards will be worth the disruption. It's clear there are some residents, some traders still unhappy about this scheme. They worry about a loss of trade. Well, it's time for a rethink, isn't it?
What it is time is to do something. We've seen footfall decrease in Harrogate town centre, we've lost shops. We have to ensure that Harrogate remains a destination of choice.
If this scheme clears the last official hurdles, work should start this coming winter and last a year. Only then will we know if this really is the vision of Harrogate in the future.
Well, let's talk to John Hill now. And John, it sounds like there's genuine concern in the town about this.
No, there is, Ian. There's a council meeting tomorrow, but that's unlikely to change things in truth. But talking of opposition, this is a leaflet that was produced a few weeks ago by opponents of the scheme. Look at that. Is this the death of our beloved town? So that gives you an idea of the strength of feeling, if you like. But how wide is that opposition? Well, of a population of just around 164,000, only a couple of thousand have actually put their name to a petition opposing it. As for the council, it says at its very worst, at peak time rush hour under this scheme, drivers could face a journey time through Harrogate of an extra 53 seconds. Parking spaces, they'll go down from 6,500 by just 40. And if this is a place you recognise from Harrogate, this landmark, it could be an ancient Greek or Roman temple. It was put up in the 1990s, and as part of this scheme, that's going to go as well.
John Hill in Harrogate, thank you.
You're watching Calendar, still to come on the programme. The farmers turning pats into power. Find out how cows could help reduce global warming.
And for many of us, it's been literally weeks since we saw any noteworthy rainfall. Is there anything soggy in sight? All the detail a little later on.
Yes, we'll see Kerry shortly. First, though, too many women, according to researchers from Leeds University, avoid parks, even during the day, because they don't feel safe in them.
Yes, it's a problem which the team behind the study will take to MPs later this month, along with a list of ideas that they say would improve green spaces and encourage more people to use them. James Webster reports.
They are supposed to be places to enjoy free time, maybe somewhere to exercise or soak up the sun. But too often, according to new research from the University of Leeds, women say parks are places to avoid, with 3 times as many women as men feeling unsafe in them, even during the day. And at night, 4 out of 5 women say they'd feel unsafe walking alone in a park.
Women and girls were sometimes choosing to avoid parks at certain times. They were also choosing to walk on streets instead of sometimes in our beautiful parks because they felt unsafe. Some women actually hadn't gone to parks because they felt unsafe. So this is really shaping actually women and girls' use and access to these spaces, which is not equal.
Dr Barker has now drawn up new guidelines on how to design better parks. It suggests safer entrance and exit routes, fewer enclosed areas, and maximising visibility when designing paths. They are issues which Leeds City Council says it can see the importance of.
We've actually, listened very, very carefully as to what women and girls have told us, and now we are beginning to use this evidence to the evidence base to ensure that our parks and green spaces are designed and improved with safety as a number one priority.
This new guidance also recommends installing facilities that attract a diverse range of people. Things like this skate park on Woodhouse Moor in Leeds, which members of the Leeds Skate Society says makes them feel more welcome.
It'd be good to have lights in certain places so that, say in winter, women are able to skate without feeling unsafe because it's dark. Having a skate park by a main road is probably quite important, or not in a secluded area. I would say that's quite important for kind of women and just people to feel safer.
Another idea is involving girls and women in the design process. These schoolgirls have helped design a new play area which they say will make them use this park in Manningham in Bradford more often.
There's only like the football nets, but when the equipment comes we can play with swings and slides.
You can see that our ideas are now in front of you and you can see it and you can use it.
Once the park is built and they've felt that they've been involved and they have that ownership and they have that pride as well, they'll come and use this site, they'll bring their families, and into the future they'll bring their kids as well. And then they are our champions in that they're taking it home and they're starting to influence their families. It's like, come on mum, we're going to go for a walk on Drummond Field tonight. Through that journey that we've had with them, we can definitely see that sort of shining through now. And the sense of pride is definitely there.
The researchers who've come up with these ideas will meet a cross-party group of MPs later this month. They hope it'll lead to better parks and more women feeling that it's safe to use them. James Webster, ITV News.
Love a good park.
Do you? So you're not afraid to walk through a park?
Maybe at night time I probably wouldn't do it. No. But during the day, great places to entertain kids.
Yeah, it's a shame people are actually missing out because they're scared, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, a housing charity has launched its latest bid to help provide homes for those who need them most. They want to buy 6 derelict homes and rebuild them to help get people off the streets or living in hostels.
So Leeds Action to Create Homes has launched a share offer and wants potential investors to raise £650,000 to buy the properties. Martin Fisher can explain.
Just an ordinary terraced house in Hare Hills, but once renovated, this house and others that Leeds Action to Create Homes want to buy could do extraordinary things. The charity, known as Latch for short, are looking for investors.
And they can invest a minimum of £500 and they'll get a 5% interest rate on that, and that'll help us do the work that we've done over the years, bringing long-term empties back into use.
Latch doesn't just help people in need find homes, it also helps unemployed young people learn construction skills during renovation.
An apprenticeship out of it, to try help me sort me out, to get a job.
Someday we could walk past here, see someone in the house and think, oh, I did that for you.
The young people we've got in, they come every week, they're committed, they're committed to spend a full day, and there's times where we're coming towards the end of the day and they're just like, I'm like, you can call it a day now guys, and they're like, no, sorry, we'll just tidy up, we'll do this, we'll do that, and I'm like, oh right, okay then.
In Leeds, although there's thought to be around 4,000 empty houses, around 26,000 people have some level of housing need. Maya is one of those the charity has already helped. She'd been living in a hostel.
It would have took me longer because the women who were living in that hostel was waiting about. One of them was waiting 10 years for a council flat. Yeah, and I would have been waiting that long like them.
Often the properties Latch identifies are in deprived areas and derelict, renovating them helping to improve the district.
Some we do quicker and it depends on the scale of it, but as you can see with this property, we've gone right back to the brick pretty much and started again, so it takes a decent amount of time.
Now the hunt is on for investors so the charity can buy 6 more homes.
Well, homelessness is a problem up and down the country. Too much attention is in the southeast, I think, and when you see sort of innovative projects and organisations, it's really important that they're supported.
Latch has already helped over 500 people find accommodation. Now they want more homes to see that number grow. Martin Fisher, ITV News in Leeds.
BBC staff from across the region are taking part in a 48-hour strike in a continued dispute over proposed cuts to local radio. Under the plans, Radio Leeds, Radio York and Radio Sheffield would all share some programming. Permanent staff have also been told they have to reapply for fewer positions, and freelancers who've hosted shows for years are not eligible to apply for jobs on offer. The BBC says its aim is to achieve a better balance between local, online and broadcast services.
The cuts that the BBC are proposing are really going to affect the type of coverage and for people to understand what's going on in their communities and be involved with that. The cuts involve 100 hours of community programming going down to only 48 a week, and that's going to have a devastating effect.
The ITV Evening News continues here at 6:30. Here's a look at what's happening with Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme, Prince Harry is back in the High Court. The King's second son gives evidence for a second day over allegations tabloids hacked his phone as he tells the court he found a tracking device in his ex-girlfriend's car. Also, strikes for summer. Heathrow Airport staff announced they'll walk out every weekend from June until August. And the freedom of the Wirral. Could the late Paul O'Grady be given a rare honour from the place where he was born? Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Mary, thank you. We will. Now it's that time of year, isn't it, when you may be going on a country walk through a field of cows and, well, spot the odd cowpat or two. Harmless enough, you'd say, unless, of course, you step in them. But did you realise that this natural waste could be used to power your kettle?
Yes, just a bucket of manure could be turned into biofuel to boil the kettle for more than 4,000 cups of tea. And we know how much you like your tea, Lara.
Certainly do. Cowpat power could even create a more eco-friendly farming future at a time when it's currently in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Katie Ridley reports.
There are many things that are damaging to our environment, one of the most unpleasant being cow poo. With 1 billion cows worldwide, experts like John Grant from Sheffield Hallam University says they're a massive concern.
What it is a greenhouse gas, which means when the sun comes down, it absorbs energy. And in the short term, methane compared to carbon dioxide, which is what everyone usually talks about, is about 84 times better at holding on to energy. So you can see why we have to take it very seriously.
Concerns like these have led to calls to reduce livestock farming across the world. But could the animals themselves hold the solution to the problem?
This natural waste can actually be turned into biofuel. Just 1 bucket of manure could be used to boil the kettle enough times to make over 4,500 cups of tea. And over a year, that could be used to power 507 fridge freezers.
The whole picture.
Farmer Stephen Temple has been turning poo into power for years by using a special device that converts methane from the slurry into gas, which is then made into electricity. So far, he's used it to power his home and some of his machinery.
We can take cattle slurries, which have got quite a good manure value, but they've also got pollution value. We can take the pollution value out, turn it into energy, and still retain the fertiliser value. The energy we get out is partly in the form of electricity, which is the most valuable part, and of that we can export about half to 3/4 of it to the grid, and the rest use on the farm.
In the past, the farming industry has been heavily criticised for its impact on global warming. But one of the dairy industry's major players says if more farmers used cow poo to produce energy, it could help to change opinions.
If we could get the British livestock industry and UK farmers to use the 91 million tonnes of cow manure and the 10 million tonnes of food waste that they currently have and turn that into biogas, that could power 6.4 million homes.
So who'd have thought that cows could hold the power to a more eco-friendly farming future? Katie Ridley, ITV News.
I wonder how many cows it would take to power a TV studio.
I've no idea.
Something to think about, Kerry, eh?
We'll have to think about that one, yeah, for sure. Great story though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cows are cool. The weather wasn't so cool today, was it? Well, it was if you were on the east coast, but elsewhere fairly disappointing with plenty of cloud around. But we have seen some breaks, particularly for parts of North Yorkshire, the likes of Harrogate, Helmsley and down to West Yorkshire. So we got scenes like this from Emily Moore Mast, from Wakefield towards Emily Moore Mast. A big thank you to Machiko Smith. You can see the breaks coming through there. But we struggled in Scarborough. A big thank you to Jenna. She said she still enjoyed the views despite all that cloud cover. We've really struggled at the coastline with 13 degrees across the region today. Of course, the North Sea is cold. We've got that northeasterly, but by the time we reach the weekend, we're looking at the likes of Whitby or Scarborough at highs of 20 Celsius. So it's definitely going to feel warmer, but we might get some sunshine, yes, but we also might get some showers, and we really need those showers. High pressure has been nearby for weeks now, and for some of us, we have to go back as far as the King's coronation for any significant rainfall. So the monthly stats came in, and we said that we've already had the month of May with very low rates, but just over the last 21 days, Topcliffe has had no rain, and also Bingley 17 days without any rain. So yeah, we are going to get some showers by the weekend, but warm and some sunshine. Forecast later on.
Okay.
Thanks very much indeed. Now, finally, 10 days, almost 60 schools and around 50 miles. All that adds up to a climate change challenge that began in West Yorkshire.
Hundreds of pupils in the Wakefield district are taking part in a mammoth walking relay to highlight the climate emergency and call for schools to become carbon neutral. Tina Gelder joined the first group as they set off this morning.
A guard of honour for the youngsters at Northfield Primary in South Kirby as they embark on the climate change relay. They may be young, but they want their voices to be heard.
So today we're doing the walk from Abbott School, Northfield Primary, all the way over to Moorthorpe School, so we can raise awareness of pollution in the ocean.
You know, the sea, it's getting polluted with all the rubbish, so I became a climate ambassador because I like outside and I like protecting our climate.
This is the baton that will be passed from school to school. It was carved by Roger from the Woodland Trust. So Roger, explain to me the significance of this baton, because it does have a significance, doesn't it?
It does, because this was an oak tree that came down in Wakefield district about 15 years ago. So we've got some acorns on there, and the acorns grow into a tree which supports the earth. And then on this side we've got the crest of Wakefield, and then the words on there, and the owl of wisdom. So obviously we can think about the future and what we need to do to make things better for the climate.
Making schools in the Wakefield area environmentally friendly is a start.
And what they're doing is raising awareness of the need to decarbonise schools by 2030. As a council, we've got a 2030 target. We see the importance of it, but it's great that the next generation are leading the way and taking up the fight themselves.
As these children neared the end of their mile, the cheering had already begun at Moorthorpe Primary in South Emsall. The team there ready for the next leg, and so it will continue.
There are about 58 schools who are signed up for it. We're walking over 10 school days, and it'll be nearly about 50 miles in total. Yeah, so hundreds of children representing thousands of children.
We need like a future world to live in when we're older. And if we keep letting climate change go on, then it won't happen. I don't want to grow up and then say, oh no, my kids are going to die because of climate change and stuff like that. So I want like anyone to have a clean life and stuff in the future.
The baton was handed over, And then the next group of pupils set off on their walk, hoping to ensure that the world doesn't run out of time. Tina Gelder, ITV News.
Kids are so switched on about climate change, aren't they, these days?
They are, yeah. Well done to them all. Now then, here's Kerry with the weather.
Say hello to a period of calm. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, we struggled with cloud amounts today. West best for temperatures and for those limited sunny spells. Thank goodness for the poppies that are out at the moment, providing some colour against those rather grey skies at the moment. That story continues for the next couple of days, but as we head into the weekend, it is now looking like it's hotting up. Humidity rising, some pretty warm nights. Yes, some warm sunshine, but also the risk of some heavy and potentially thundery showers. We basically lose the high pressure that's been dominating over the last 2 or 3 weeks. That moves to the north and east, and low pressure to the south and west, feeding in that southeasterly flow from Saturday onwards. So during the course of this evening, some limited sunshine to the west, but mainly dry overnight tonight. But the cloud just reforms, thickens and returns across all parts of the region, and maybe even some low cloud and a little bit of moisture right over the tops of the Pennines. Nothing too chilly, similar to last night, 7 or 8 Celsius. A great Pennine Star Trail by John Victor. A big thank you for sharing. 4:37 and 9:34 ISN times for tomorrow. So a rather dry but cloudy start again tomorrow. Again, we hope it will thin and break through and retreat way back to the east coast during the afternoon, but still a bit of a question mark about how fast it does that and how much it does that. Nice where we get the sunny spells, struggling and feeling quite cool in that breeze, which will actually pick up towards the evening. So quite a blustery end to daylight hours tomorrow. The cloud reforms again tomorrow night, but again, we hope we'll see a little bit more by the time we reach Friday across many parts, but still with that northeasterly flow. We change to the southeasterly as we head into the weekend. Warm sunshine for Saturday, increased risk of some heavy and thundery showers mixed in with our sunny spells from Sunday.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
So as we head towards the weekend, warm, dry, humid and showery conditions, not great for hay fever sufferers. Moderate for the rest of the week, but high by the time we reach the weekend. There you go, by the time we get to Saturday, some will like it and some will not.
I can't believe Saturday's temperatures.
I know,
really
it's going to be hot. Those roads to the coast are going to be busy, aren't they?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you later at 10:30.
Tomorrow. Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye.